I'd like to mention our other brothers and sisters over here, the motorcycle people who's come over to support us. Thank you, folks, we really appreciate it. Please, folks, can we now welcome a great supporter of Aboriginal rights in Tasmania, a great man, human rights lawyer and columnist for the Mercury. Please welcome Mr. Greg Barnes.
Thanks very much. Well, I want to firstly acknowledge the original owners of the land. I want to say that there are two groups of people here today who face a threat in our society brought about by the suspension of the rule of law. It's people who ride motorbikes and it's people who are Indigenous. In Queensland, we have the most appalling attack on the rights of individuals to fairness in the justice system that we have seen since that other appalling act, this time by the Commonwealth Parliament, of the Northern Territory Indigenous intervention. The fundamental flaw in both of those legislative endeavours is this, that they strip away fundamental rights and they place more power in the hands of the police and in the hands of the state, and they strip away the rights of individuals to go to court, to plead their case and to seek fairness from a court. They both take away the rights of our judiciary to exercise mercy and to exercise justice in accordance with their oath, because they tie their hands with mandatory minimum jail terms in the case of one, and in the case of the other, they simply wipe out the capacity for courts to exercise jurisdiction. If these were done to homeowners in Australia, or pensioners in Australia, or various other sacred groups who the government will not touch, there would be outrage. But because we do it to Aboriginal people, because we do it to people who ride motorbikes, it seems to be okay. And what's even worse is that the vast bulk of the mainstream media in this country lets all this go through to the keeper. Lets all this go through to the keeper. They do not campaign against these laws, they accept these laws. And when you agitate journalists and say these laws are appalling and here's how they work, you get a sort of non-committal answer, oh well, it's all too late, it's all happening. You've got to stand firm in a democracy against attacks on the rule of law. We saw it with the anti-terror laws, which was fundamentally an attack on Islamic Australia. We saw it with the NT intervention and the renewal of that intervention by a Labor government before the last election. And we're seeing it in Queensland. You've got to say to Tasmanian politicians, you won't tolerate it. You will not tolerate bikie laws. You will not tolerate the Aboriginal Heritage Bill that's currently before the Parliament. You will not tolerate laws which disenfranchise and disable people from exercising their fundamental rights in the courts. You will not support laws which strip away the capacity for courts to do their job. And you've got to keep campaigning on these issues, and you've got to make life very, very difficult for politicians. Let me just say one further thing about this day, and the reason that this is a day of sorrow. It's unconnected to what I've just said, but in a way reflects on how far this country has to go. If you look at the flag behind me, that flag and the Tasmanian derivation of that flag represents the past. It represents a colonial past. It represents a past where, as Manning Clark said in his magisterial 6-volume history of Australia, by 1805, within 9 years of Europeans invading this country, by 1805 there was simply a view, a collective view across the fledgling settlement that you simply got to destroy Aboriginal people. That's what that flag represents.
The butcher's apron.
And what's extraordinary is that our politicians here who've said that they oppose this flag, it's still there. Because these issues become second order issues. You know, because at the end of the day, politicians and the mainstream media to some extent are focused on, you know, health, education, all important issues. But the really important issues are things like these appalling symbols of the past, which reflect on us as a society today and reflect on our future. got to be changed. You've got to protect the rule of law, and then you might have a day to celebrate. Thank you.